Okay, hi everyone who has joined us so far. I'm going to go ahead and kick this off. I've got a little script here. It's the first time that I'm emceeing one of these. Courtney of Global Ties has passed it off to me, and I know it's only because her signal isn't great. Otherwise, she probably wouldn't have wanted to do this. So, good evening, everyone. As some light housekeeping, we do plan to record and share today's call. I've already started recording. If there's anything that you think shouldn't be included in a recording, make sure to reach out to me, ezimmerman@globaltieskc.org. Oh my gosh, it's a new email address. That's what I get for doing all of this. We can send a follow-up as well. We ask that you mute your microphone during the first 3/4 of the call, which I don't think is too much of an issue because we are in a webinar format and it's the second time I've ever used it. So we're still using the same housekeeping rules. And then we'll open it up for general questions. You can use the chat at any time. Oh, thank you. Sarah shared in the chat my email. So if there's anything where you ask a question or there's a flub or anything, let me know. We can cut that out of the video before we post it. Yeah, but if you want to ask your questions as we go along, you can ask them in the chat and we will incorporate them in, if not during, at the end. So let's get started. I'm Erin Zimmerman from Global Ties KC. We work to connect the US to the world. You are here this evening as part of our Global Spoke series, designed to connect alumni of Global Ties KC and Department of State exchange programs back to the Kansas City community. Tonight we have a very fun and frothy conversation in store for you. Oh, I love having scripts written for me. Frothy. We are joined by two brewers, Paulina from Green Beer in Mexico and Damon from Strange Days right here in Kansas City. I hope everyone who is over 21 had a chance to grab a 4-pack from Strange Days. I'm enjoying El Jefe, which, Damon, you're going to have to give us information on that one because I totally don't have it in front of me and I am the worst. What do you have, Damon?
I've got, just released it today, Love Over Hate. It's a collaboration with the local supporters of Sporting Kansas City, the soccer club. We are partnering and raising money. 25 cents from every beer sold will go to ACLU Missouri. Yeah, and it's a session IPA, super light, easy drinking. It looks kind of hazy, but it's still light, tons of hop aroma, not too bitter, very drinkable, 4.2%.
I'm very excited. That'll probably be my second one because I do have it. It's right in front of me, so we'll see if I should do a second one during this conversation. We've got
I'm excited for
maybe.
it.
Yeah. So to introduce our speakers, Paulina is an engineer by training and the founder and owner of Olvera Brewery, a craft brewery in downtown Tijuana, Mexico. She's also launched a program, Green Beer, which focuses on sustainable solutions to produce craft beer. Her goal is to provide consulting services to craft beer businesses on the topic of reduced energy consumption and reuse of brewing byproducts, which I'm super excited to hear about. I am a baby on my sustainability journey, but I am so excited to learn more about it. Damon Arredondo, head brewer at Strange Days Brewing in Kansas City, will be serving as moderator this evening. Located downtown within the KC River Market, they get a lot of inspiration for their beers from global cuisine based on the diversity of the neighborhood that they are in. Back in April, he started a very cool initiative to encourage people to donate personal protective equipment to senior living facilities and small medical practices. Back when there is a shortage of PPE, they offered people free beer and trade for donations, which I love. And you know what, Damon, with that, I'm going to let you take it away.
Sounds good. Yeah, on top of that, we also do sell hand sanitizer as well. Our chemical company that I work with is getting 55-gallon drums. So we purchase, and for every ounce, gallon, however much you purchase, we donate to the assisted living facilities around the city as well. So up to this date, we've done about 30 gallons of hand sanitizer, and I still have an entire 55-gallon drum to sell. So go on our website. If you're in Kansas City and you need hand sanitizer, do that, and you're helping out as well. So anyways, I'm going to kind of jump into it. I appreciate you guys and everybody who's watching right now. I'm just gonna go for it, Paulina. Like, tell me about your background. Like, what got you into brewing, first of all? What was like, what about beer, and what was it about the work that really got you excited to pursue?
Well, hello everyone. Uh, well, I'm an engineer, renewable energies engineer to be precise, and I love beer. Like when I was in college, I love drinking it with my friends and everything. When we went off from the school, and well, I love to learn new things. So I started wondering how beer was made, and I acknowledge that there was a lot of chemistry and engineering involved in the whole process. So I bought a homebrew kit, like with the buckets and everything, and I made a porter, and it was awful. So then I was like, oh man, I screwed things up. But I pursue and I went forward and started making a lot of batches, and I didn't let that may take me down, but because I think that brewing beer, it's kind of like making a cake or anything. Like the first time you can mess things up the first time, but when you keep making it, you're gonna have like a decent kind of cake in a couple of tries, and then you have like uh, this beautiful cake that you can show to your friends or family. That's kind of the thing. And then when I saw the possibility of a business, we started to create, from bucket, we went from bucket to having an actual stainless steel 1 BBL system, one barrel system. And it's kind of like small, for big breweries in the States, but for here in Tijuana, at least, it's kind of enough to supply a restaurant. So that was the thing that we made. We sell the beer mainly in the Caesar restaurant, the place where the Caesar salad was invented. I don't know if you guys knew that, but Caesar salad actually was invented in Tijuana. So yeah, back in 1916, yeah, was the year that it was made. And we wanted to like have a beer that we can pair with most of the dishes that they have in the restaurant, but mostly with the Caesar salad. And that's what we came with an idea of an amber ale. And we love to have like this kind of neutral styling of beers. So we add more malt instead of hops, because it's kind of more malty, more sweet, more body to the beer. And we use only English yeast because it's too neutral, and we like to give like a nice crisp to the beer, and also a lot of clear, because we saw that our clients or customers love a clear beer more than a hazy one. So we have a lot of problems with that because we didn't have the knowledge back in the day of how to make that in a small equipment. But now we are well, we were selling so great just in January, February, and everything. And then boom, I know that everybody is like kind of stressed out with this pandemic. And we fortunately sold a lot of the beer because commercial beer wasn't brewing, and like for, I don't know, like 1 or 2 months. And we got an opportunity there to start selling out and reaching a new market, and that was a good thing for us, at least.
Nice. So sorry I missed a little chunk. Still having internet issues,
Oh
but
no, no problem.
No, actually what was interesting about that story. Your first beer was a porter that you ever brewed. Mine was as well, and it was not pleasant. But one of the best things about it is I like forgot about it because I was fermenting or carbonating in a bottle. Forgot about it for about 6 months,
Oh
and
well.
it was a completely different beer after that 6 months, and it was way better. And that's
Oh
what
wow.
got me
Cool.
hooked. Yeah, I was 18 when that happened, and
I think that your microphone went off. Yeah.
we good now.
Yeah. You're good. No problem.
Okay.
Actually, my first beer, the porter, I messed up the mash situation, and it tasted like water, just like painted with black. So yeah.
I know that. Nice. So kind of, yeah. So I would say, how have you seen the engineering side kind of help bring in like more into the beer side? How have you seen that experience help?
Well, historically, engineering has bring so much advance in the brewing because, well, you have refrigerators now, and you can actually collect yeast, and like in before Louis Pasteur, you didn't even knew what kind of yeast you have. So I think that engineering and beer has like a straight path together. And here in Tijuana, well, you you have a lot of different places, and you have breweries that still brew and still ferment their beers in plastic, but they have amazing beer. And you have like me, that you have a small equipment, but you are in stainless steel, that it gives you the capacity of having better beer, because, well, you have more temperature control. You can actually make a cold crush. You can make lagers if you want, and it's kind of amazing what brings you with all the engineering changes through the years to what we have now. And I think that is the best part of engineering, no? Because you create new things.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I also enjoy the physical side of it,
Yeah.
well, the mechanical side, all that type of stuff. So my mind is much more on the creative and also physical side that I function off of that. So that's definitely, if I was an office person, I would be the crazy one. I couldn't do that. But
Yeah, me too. I couldn't.
exactly. So I'm curious about craft beer scene in Mexico. What would you say the craft scene is like in terms of how many breweries are out there, how many more are popping up? What does it look like in Tijuana? Being close to San Diego, I'm sure helps too. But right now, how does it look in Mexico?
Well, in Mexico, all around Mexico, we have about 600 breweries. And here in Tijuana, we have around 50, uh, around that. Yeah. Because,
Nice.
well, unfortunately, one's open, one's closed. So we don't have the exact number, but it's around 50. Yeah. And, well, I think that we had a lot of brew uh, since, like, we started like around 10 years ago. So there were like these main breweries like Minerva, Ramuri, I don't know if you heard about them, Insurgente, Wendland, that went all the way with this brewing kind of movement here in Mexico. And the part of Tijuana, well, Baja California in general, but Tijuana mostly started to go big because we have this kind of connection. Well, this is a cool connection of San Diego, because we're like literally 10 minutes away. Instead of the nearest state that we have is Sonora, and it's 3 hours away. So you can see the difference there. We have a country nearby than the first state in Mexico. So that's why I think that we grew so fast, because we had the influence from the San Diego breweries, and the San Diego brewers that came here and still come here to brew, to have like these kind of connections and collabs between breweries, and that made the scene here in Tijuana a lot of well, grew so much. And in the pair with Baja Med, that is like a cuisine that we have here, that it's kind of endemic, if you want to say that. That it's like Baja California with the Mediterranean, and we infuse them, and a lot of people come here to the region to try the beer and the food, and this is awesome because we have a lot of gastronomic tourism.
Yeah, I'm also a big foodie as well, and where we're at in Kansas City, we're really close to a lot of ethnic foods, a lot of multicultural businesses around. And so what I've done is work directly with some of the businesses around and done pairings and really fun events and stuff. And so seeing that in that community, that's a great way for craft beer to keep growing alongside the food tourism aspect of it too. I am curious too, so female brewer, I'll say from my experience as a male brewer in the industry, I am used to other people looking, sounding, everything like me. One thing I noticed is first Craft Brewers Conference, which is one of the largest gatherings in the craft beer industry in North America. Right away, I walked on the floor and noticed a lack of, we'll say, diversity, and a lack, especially women, but also people of color. But I'm curious about your experience as a female brewer. What have you dealt with, really? Like, have you come across, do you feel like there are, have you seen more women come into the industry, and what projects have kind of come up between fellow female brewers, especially across into California?
Well, here I know not many brewers, like per se brewers that actually make beer, but there are a lot of women involved in the industry, like in marketing and sales and that kind of stuff. But I really think that it's just because it's kind of like hard, to you can just carry a keg. it's heavy. It's like I don't know, 100 pounds or more. It's heavy to carry a bag of malts, and you have to do a lot of effort to that. And it's just like, well, okay, I can't carry a whole 55-pound bag of malt, but I can split it, and then that kind of stuff. I split it, and then I can brew, or I can ask for help. It's not just like impossible, and I am not superwoman. I can ask for help. My husband can help me. My coworkers can help me to carry the kegs, or to go to the I don't know, a beer festival here, and I am not alone. So I think that the main reason that women are not that into the brewing part is that they think that it's gonna be hard, but it's hard, but it's not impossible to do it. So if you really wanna make beer because you're passionate about it, because that's the other part. If you're not passionate about making the beer itself, you are not gonna succeed, men or women. It's not a deal of gender here. It's just like the whole picture of you like what you are making, because you can follow a recipe, but if you don't have the heart, you're just gonna end with a plain beer that is drinkable, but that's it. You're not gonna taste anything else. And for the other part that you're saying, that the groups of women, we actually have like this group that is called Dos California Brewsters. We join like the women from Tijuana and from San Diego, and actually from Mexicali, that is a city, it's 2 hours from Tijuana. And we make a beer together, 10 barrels or 15 barrels, depends of the ones that we are, well, of the host of the brewery that is hosting us, is hosting us. And we sell the beer through the year, and then the earnings of that beer we sell, we fund scholarships to university here in Tijuana that is called the Technological Institute of Tijuana. And they have like this club called the Gargabli Beer Club, and the majority of that club is actually women. I think that it's like 20 right now, and 15 are women and 5 are men. And they are like actually really join together and start doing, like we have this flower of the dead here in Mexico. I don't know what it's called. It's like this orange flower, but they started to do a beer with that, and with Pan de los Muertos, and with chocolate, cinnamon. They like to do crazy stuff, and that's awesome. And many bars here take the beer from them and sell it. And well, we started to funding these women. The first year we got like $200, but the second year we got $2,000. So we can fund 4 full year scholarship and 2 just the 1 semester scholarship. But the reason we are making this is because we have a lot of economical issues here in Mexico. And even if you study in like public school, that is like around 150 fee for the whole semester, you are struggling to pay that fee. So we wanted the women to keep going to school and don't just like quit because of the economical issues. And so this is like a support for them, so they just can focus on studying and just having enough money to pay for the transportation, and that's it. So yeah.
That program's pretty outstanding. I mean, I know just from my experience getting into craft beer, there are some barriers to entry, some difficulties, and school is one of them. You think anybody can get into it, but it's the base education to get in that really gets you over the line, and there are definitely barriers there. So I appreciate that. And for anybody, for the people watching out there, I did attach a couple, I think I did it for everybody to be able to see. I put the link to the group of women who are collaborating together. I put their website on there. And then I also Thrillist Magazine did a article about her program and kind of the scene, the brewing scene down there. And so I added it there. So if anybody's interested, click on those after. Or now, so you forget, make it a separate tab and then get back to it. Like I do. I have 30 tabs. But anyways, there's some good resources, and it gives a little more information about it. Kind of piggybacking on that, though, for anybody who doesn't know, within the craft beer scene, San Diego is one of the best. There's a lot of OG breweries there. And I haven't been there. It's kind of a beer mecca. I've planned for years, like which breweries I want to go to. I got friends there, all this stuff. So just to be that close is amazing. And there must be some unbelievable resources in San Diego. First of all, what's your favorite brewery in San Diego? And second of all, how has being so close kind of affected or impacted you and the ability to produce better quality beer maybe?
Okay, so I don't have a favorite beer or brewery, but I really like, if you want to try Modern Times, the sours that they make, it's amazing. Ballast Point, the IPAs, I think that they are famous for it. Stone had like 2 years ago, a sour kind of program. They closed it up, but yeah, no. Ballast Point had it and they closed it up. Sorry for that. And Belgian Beaver is amazing. The peanut butter, the stout that they have, unbelievable. So yeah, you gotta try it. And the for the other part, I think that being so far away from the capital of my country is it has its advantage and disadvantage. The first disadvantage that I must say is that you are so far away that you are in a completely different region. So when you wanna like open new market to another state, it's kind of more difficult because all the costing that you're gonna generate, you can sell, I don't know, the beer here for $2.50 kinda, and it's gonna be like I don't know, $5. It's gonna double the price that you could sell it here. So many people really wanna try the Baja California beer, but it's kind of expensive there. And I know that maybe $5 for you guys is not a lot of money, but we have like a salary of like $7 per day, so you can say that you can see that it's kind of like a big deal. So that's for the disadvantages. But the most uh, the good part here is that, well, you have a good influence of good beer, you have good quality ingredients, and you can actually study something. I'm actually currently enrolled in the UCSD brewing program, so that's a good part. And you just gotta make a line and go for it, you know. It's like a half an hour probably the line you gotta make. And and you can actually go to a lot of classes there. The Ballast Point, I think that they have in the homebrew market, they have like this monthly session where they teach you how to homebrew, and that's amazing. I don't know if you kind of have that in other places here in Mexico. I don't think so. But you go and you have classes with brewers that are like 10 or 20 years in the industry, and that's amazing. Well, at least in the UCSD program. And a lot of a lot of the connections. I think that it's the most amazing part of being here in Tijuana. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, definitely. I did a program through a school called Siebel, and what it does is I went up to Chicago for a few months and then Germany for a few months, and I was very fortunate to be a part of it. Wasn't cheap, but the connections was one of the biggest things, and the connections were
Yeah.
far and away the best resource. And it's we've got a group text now of about 20 people in the industry, and something happens, something goes wrong, you name it, like we're on it, blowing each other up and getting ideas. And it's people from all around the country, and that's been really great. Is just knowing people in the industry really helps your ability to use your network.
Yeah,
And
it's
so
kind of amazing. Oh, sorry. It's kind of
no,
amazing because like Yakima hops and White Labs are the ones that donate the hops and the yeast to
mhm.
the Dos California Brewsters. So it's quite amazing from there. And you have, well, as you say, you have the connections, and it's wonderful to have them.
Yeah, and I will say to the people watching, some of the costs that you wouldn't expect about beer, um, there's some huge things. One, stainless steel is just expensive in general, in getting more. Two, hops, you're looking at, for beers per pound, you're looking at 15 up to $30 per pound in hops. And if you're throwing, for even small beers, you're throwing 15 pounds of hops in, it adds up really fast. And then yeast is crazy expensive. If you get all the yeast you need in one package to put for one beer, it's incredibly expensive. And so being able to work with groups, White Lab, she mentioned, is out of San Diego, and that's an incredible resource. And being just that located as closely to a company like that really does help. So,
Yeah.
in Kansas City, we don't have any of that. We're about as far away as possible from any of the major suppliers. So,
You're
it's a
literally on the
struggle.
center of
Yeah,
everything. Yeah.
equally far from everything.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. So next thing, you were talking about your engineering background, and so that has spurred your interest in sustainability. What you have this, you mentioned it, but what is your kind of desire within sustainability in craft beer? What's kind of your vision or your end goal, let's say?
So, well, currently I am doing a master's in science and technology with a specialization on environmental issues. And the thing is that I am measuring right now the carbon and water footprint of the beer industry here in Tijuana, because it's different all around the world, right? And I want to reuse the waste from the malt on the hops, and we are seeking to add that to different kinds of materials. So I know that many people are making like dog cookies, or that actually my dogs love. And they are making like candles, soap, and many other things. And with the malt bags, they are making purses or backpacks, and it's amazing. And we are actually doing like a little, in my thesis, we are doing a little report on that, and how to add these byproducts or waste to other materials, such as, I don't know, bricks or cement to construction or whatever, to bring like a new stability. Like they use reuse tires to make payments. We wanna kind of make that, but we are just in the process, so I cannot tell you anything because we haven't got to that point. But if you are interested, I can give you like a continuation with this. And I think that it's really important because we're in the globally of the environmental issues that we have right now. We use a lot of things, we don't reuse. Like I think that 10% is reuse, and I really want to take an impact in that, and that the Tijuana beer industry is kind of like ecological responsible. And so they reduce their carbon footprint, they reduce the water footprint, and they reuse the waste. So it's kind of like the triangle, like is safe, reuse, and don't generate a lot of emissions. So that's kind of the part that I am making to the industry. And the brewers, well, they want to have like the badge of ecological responsible, and they can reduce the cost of beer making. So it's kind of like a win-win to the situation.
Yeah, definitely. And so I was pursuing a brewery of my own in Colorado, and it fell through. But we were looking at kind of a farm brewery concept, and a big part what I had learned. The reason why I wanted to do it was, one, I'm an events person. Anytime you can have space to throw events, that's amazing. But two, you have space to use your waste products and kind of create a full circle. And what I found was the barrier to sustainability is cost of technology. And there were a lot of things such as I was looking at anaerobic digesters. If anybody know what that is, bacteria used to break down organic material and produce methane, capture it, compress it, and use it to run compressed natural gas cars or whatever, or heat your stove, you name it. A lot of foreign governments have done it, and Scandinavia, for example, but that technology hasn't really come to the United States yet. And so the cost of even considering that was crazy. And we're just not quite there. And there's other things, CO2, reclamation, and breweries. Yeah, it's a very expensive process because you have to filter, isolate, compress, and then reuse. And that there's giant breweries doing that. New Belgium, Lagunitas, just giant breweries, but small breweries like us.
But with the budget.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
so what are ways that we can, and it might be simple things, it might be call a farmer, how can you please come, or can you please come take this? One thing for me, for example, and I know I'm kind of jumping on this, but I get excited. One thing I do, for example, is our trube. So for you guys watching, trube is the yeast and hops coming off of the bottom of fermenters. It's extremely high nitrogen. And so it's a big stress on the city wastewater system. And the city spends a ton of energy cleaning their water, cleaning their waste, or even just like trying to get rid of that versus even try to clean it. And so what I've tried to do, super high nitrogen, it's a great fertilizer. And so I work with people who take it and use it in composting and some other stuff. And it's been a great way to reuse some of this waste that would otherwise go into energy expenditure down the line.
I really think that well, at least I think that it's not about the money, because you can actually use it as compost. I don't know the word for in English, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
But and you can actually give it to the farmer to feed the livestock. But we don't have a lot of livestock here in Tijuana. Actually, I think that we have 3,000 heads, and that's it. So you have a lot of breweries and just not so many places to get rid of the waste. Yeah. So and I think that too are actually using it to the compost and making that. But I believe that it's just that they don't have the time to think about many other things. But because, well, a brewery here usually has like 3 to 5 employees, and they don't have enough time, enough people to make these kind of changes. So the easiest thing is just call a farmer, and they can grab the waste and give it to the livestock. But as I told you, just 3,000 heads of cows is not enough. So they get busy too, and the used malt, it rests there just like I don't know, 3 to 7 days. And as a brewer, how smelly the used malt is. So it's kind of like a problem with us right now, because you cannot get rid instantly, or just like a daily the malt. So it's an issue here to the concern of the people, because many breweries are actually situated in residential places, and neighbors sometimes, not all the time, but complain about the smells. Yeah.
It's nauseating sometimes. And that is and that's also why cleaning in a brewery is so important, because a lot of that smell is bacteria, and bacteria can ruin beer, and you can lose your business because people try bad beer on accident sometimes. But we are glorified janitors half the time. We clean a lot. So I'm curious on the sustainability side, is it an emphasis in like our governments, whether it's the the city or state or the country, are they putting much effort into sustainability? Are there grant opportunities? Are there ways you can work directly with the city to be able to create more programs or work with them to be able to use your waste in other ways too?
Well, no. Well, yes or no. There are many cities that they have like 2 trucks, one to the organic waste and one to the other kind of waste. But here in Tijuana, no, we don't have that. And actually, we just have like 1 truck that comes once a week, so you can see there. And there are like micro credits to entrepreneurs that seek to have sustainability. So yeah, that's a good part, but it's kind of hard to get those credits, and you have actually to prove the viability. Well, of course you have to prove the viability of your project, but it's not that much of money that they gave you. And actually mm, they don't do the disposable waters treatment well. And it's not well, I don't want to talk about that much, but no, in the growth of it, no, they don't actually keep track of the waste and of the waters of the city. So yeah, it's we have a big issue there.
Yeah. And are other industries really trying to bring sustainability? Because eventually it will become financially smart to do some of this stuff
Yeah.
too. And so are there other industries that are kind of helping spearhead this and bring it to the attention? Or it must be, and everybody knows about it who's in government, but are there other industries that the craft beer industry is kind of teaming up with to kind of promote more sustainable programs and things like that?
Well, they put solar panels to reduce electricity bills, but I think that is like the second part they are seeking. The first one is reduce costs, so they just do that. And I think that 5 years ago there was like this program that they 100% of the things that you installed that were like environmental, like solar panels, were gonna be deductible from your taxes. So that was a good part, and big companies started to put solar panels in the rooftops. But I don't think that they do that anymore, at least not here in Tijuana. And well, they try to, well, in the like beer industries try to make more sustainability, as I say, like making candles, making soap, making giving that to the livestock. But that's about it. You know, they don't have many options. That's what I'm trying to say. They don't have many options. It's not that they don't want. It's just that they don't know how to make it.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, we have 10 minutes and people are sending questions. So
Okay.
I'm going to kind of just go down the line from what I'm getting. First one, how has the pandemic really affected your business? And I'm going to add to this a little, are there some things that the pandemic has brought forward that's good in the way people's spending or trends? And then what's the bad? I think we experience and know some of the bad firsthand.
Okay, I think that our business improved because, as I said, there were not so much commercial beer, and people were trying new things. So we opened that customer stores, and that was a good thing for us. But in the big picture, all the restaurants that we sell beer to, they were closed. So we brew, all the beer we brew for them, we didn't sell it, but we sell through the new customers, the people that were trying to get beer out of whatever, and actually sales went up for all the breweries here in Tijuana. So and in Mexico in general. So that was a good part. And but the other part that was, it was like the restaurants closed its doors and the sales went down, and many restaurants had to close. So that was a bad part. At least for us, the restaurants that we sell beer, they didn't break, but many other bars and tap rooms, they are struggling really hard right now because well, beer sales went up, but the thing is that we didn't have enough support from the government to electrical bills, water bills, rent, or employees salaries. Kind of many things, like okay, I can sell more beer, but I don't have enough money because the main money that brewery gets, it's from food. So if you don't sell food, maybe you cannot pay your staff, because you have a lot of staff, and you cannot of course you're not gonna fire people, and the beer sales are up, but not enough to maintain the other parts of the business. So it was kind of it is still kind of hard for us right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say for us, we have a decent sized tap room, and being closed to on-premise sales really hurt us. And we sold a decent amount of cans, but the cost of cans, the cost of labels, lids, the labor to be able to put it all together and sell it and walk it out to the cars, it was really difficult to do that for even 3 months, because we may have sold, let's say, the same amount of volume, but the margins are cut at least in half. So that was a big one for us.
Yeah.
I'll say, how's the overall consumption of beer trending up in just, we'll say as a whole, with the large breweries, Corona, Modelo, Tecate, plus craft beer? Are people drinking more beer in general in Mexico?
During the pandemic? Yeah. I think that well, people are stressed and they had to do something for it. But as I told you, maybe Modelo and Tecate sales went down. In the meantime, craft beer went up. But now that they are producing again, we are having a lack of customers again, because you cannot compare to pay $1 for a can of Modelo or Tecate to 250 for a can of craft beer. Well, this here in Mexico. So people are like, they don't have enough money, so they go for the cheaper and the things that they knew or they know. So it's kind of, it was like a roller coaster, Sales went up and then we are just going down again, because our market is not it's kind of like a more closed market here, and we wanted to break through, but it wasn't just not enough time so to change people's minds. So that was kind of like the big issue that we had. And actually that, well, the part that the bars, the tap rooms that didn't sell food had to close because it was not an essential business. So they just had the option to delivery, but then they put a delivery fee, a delivery tax. So it increased the people selling like kind of like Al Capone style, that, oh, I'm just here, I'm not selling beer at all, because they delivery through their cars, their personal cars, not
Mhm.
through an app because it was expensive. So they make routes are all around town, and one day you had the east part, and one day you got downtown, and one day you got the north part of town and everything. So that was the kind of like the thing that they do. I personally, I just sold around my area and that was it. But many people go further and uh, made sales all around town. So it was
Yeah.
cool for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and also, being small, did that allows flexibility for you during this time too, the ability to like adjust one little thing here or there to kind of keep working. If you're a giant place who only does one thing or two things and that's it, I would assume it'd be a little harder to change your whereas when you're small and a handful of people working or a little more, it allows you the flexibility to be agile during this time.
Yeah.
So I've got
We
a
just
few
have
more.
like, oh sorry, we just have like 5 big craft beer breweries here in Tijuana, and that's
Mhm.
it.
Yeah. And so, if somebody was in San Diego, what is the best, let's see, and wants to visit your brewery, what is the best way to go about that? Maybe not right now, but like assume we're in normal time. Um, way back when life was somewhat normal.
Normal. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Our normal. Um,
Yeah.
what was the best way to go visit you guys from San Diego?
Well, you gotta cross the border. That's the hard part, I think. And then you just take a cab, go to right to downtown Tijuana, and you explore. There are around 10 breweries in Tijuana, in just in downtown Tijuana, and well, you can go to take Caesar salad in the Caesar restaurant and a pint of my beer, and they go around. We have a lot of good beers going on here in Tijuana, so just go for it. Don't be afraid because if you're a nice people and don't want trouble, you're not gonna get trouble. So don't be afraid of that. It's just the media, you know. But we are very friendly. We have a lot of food options, beer options here in Tijuana. So just come, take a cab from the border, and that's it. That's all you gotta do.
So one of my favorite things about breweries is whenever I travel, we'll find a brewery, go there, talk to the bartender or talk to someone who works there and say, where's the best place? Or like, how should I experience this town, the city, whatever. So kind of what I got from that was take a cab to your place and then ask, once you drink 3
Yeah.
beers, ask
Before.
what next?
Yeah. And the most amazing part here in downtown is like you can actually walk, so you don't have to Uber drive or anything. You can just walk 2 or 3 blocks and that's it. You get to a new brewery, and most of the part the brewery is working there the owner works there too, so you can actually have a nice great conversation. And here in Tijuana, we speak a lot of English. And well, of course, if you want to learn Spanish, that's amazing. But we have great English speakers here, so you are not gonna have any trouble for that. Just go straight to the bar, and that's it. You're gonna have a lovely conversation of beer.
Nice. Yeah, and one of my favorite things too about the beer industry is like we're extremely supportive of each other, and just hearing you be like, oh yeah, come to our brewery and then go to another brewery,
Yeah.
not go to our brewery, go to a restaurant and then come back to our brewery.
No, don't be selfish.
No, but do that too after you visit all the other breweries. Come back.
Yeah, that's amazing because beer brings people together. So you can share. There's plenty of room for all the breweries, all the beer styles. So go ahead, go crazy. This is Tijuana. We love having a lot of people here, and we actually have a growth on the tourism. Many people from Europe, from the United States, from Australia come here just to drink beer and have. So you're welcome here.
What's your fun night on the town? What do you like to do?
Well, I like to start in all the breweries, the craft breweries, and then go to a tiny bar called Nelson, where they have like this disc player, and they put Queen, and it's amazing. All the bars start singing when they put Bohemian Rhapsody, and it's amazing. Just the feeling, I got the chills.
Okay, I'll be sure when I visit, we'll go there.
Gotta go. Yeah.
Nice. Well, what's your what's your dream? What's your vision and this is crazy, I know, to even think about, but in like 20 years, you're sitting down having a beer, looking back, what's the highlight? You're like, you made it. What is that? What's that vision?
Well, having a at least 10 barrel system, I would love to have that. Having a restaurant that sells good burgers and good pulled pork sandwiches, that would be amazing. Yeah, and I actually love Chile. I went there for 6 months, having a house, kind of like a countryside house in Chile. They have an amazing beer industry there too, and go come forward from Tijuana to Chile. That will be just like my dream come true. And being a teacher from the university, that will be like the plus. Yeah.
That's the travel money, is the teaching.
The what?
That you'll get travel money from teaching on the side to be able to go back and forth to
Yeah,
your
and from the
second
brewery.
home. Yeah.
Yeah, from the
Exactly.
brewery too.
Yeah. Well, my dreams it's similar. I want to have a place in Europe, and so if I could start a small American brewery in Europe somewhere, be there long enough, get a passport, and then be able to work in Europe, that's the dream. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not far off.
Travel, drink, and eat. That's the
Traveling and food are like the two times I get my dopamine hit, and that's what I want. That's all. It's simple.
Yeah. Simple life.
Exactly. Nice. One last question. If you're not able to drink any more beer in your life, what is the one drink? I know, makes me sad too. I don't even like thinking about it. But what is the one other drink that you would be like, okay, I guess this is okay?
I don't know. Maybe.
How could you turn that part of your brain off?
Sparkling wine. I really like sparkling wine. And that's it. Well, non-alcoholic, it will be orange juice. I'm a simple girl.
Okay.
What can I tell you?
Yeah, my daughter would be in the same boat. Orange juice all day. Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Yeah, I would say, mine would be some sort of red wine. I'm a wine snob. You said you had wine. I was about to right away. What are you drinking?
Yeah, no, sparkling wine. We don't use mimosas. That's a win for me. Yeah.
That's fair. Well, I think our time is up, but I don't know. I'm going to ask Erin what all.
Yeah.
You have any more questions you want to bring in?
I think all the questions so far were answered. I'm sure there will be plenty after the fact, and I'll just be emailing back and forth. First of all, I want to thank you both for being part of the discussion. Like all of us here at Global Ties, we're super excited. Like we were very, very excited about a whole conversation about beer and sustainability. Like Yes. If you could.
This
if
is
you
all
could-
surface. This is very surface too. Like
Yeah.
I was holding back bid time. I didn't want to bore too many
Oh,
people
I
with
see.
like,
I don't know
being in
that
the
you
weeds.
could. Maybe, I mean, we'll have to talk with Courtney. Maybe we can make a bigger series out of this because I would be down. But thank you both so much. I do want to let everyone know that we have another Global Spoke series coming up July 9th. It's a Thursday. That one is going to be at noon Central Time. Not quite happy hour. I may still have a beer. I don't think we're going to be talking to brewers, but I may still have a beer with me. We'll see. We'll see if they let me have one on the clock at noon.
Strange days will keep having beers. So if
There
you
you
need
go.
any,
I may
I'm
have to
still
make another
working.
trip. Yes, and
It's always
Exactly.
2 o'clock somewhere in the world. So.
somewhere. Exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. So I am gonna try that. What is it? Love over hate? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Damon?
Yep.
I'm gonna try that one next, but it's probably gonna be in like an hour because this one's got me. The El Jefe, it's got me a little bit. So I'm glad that I was keeping my composure. But again, thank you so much. It was great to meet you, Paulina. It was great to see you again, Damon. And I hope that we
been a
can
while.
continue the conversation, the international conversation here. I love it. I love it.
That's
Thank you.
amazing.
And thank you everyone for your questions. And if you have any additional questions, I know my email, Sarah had to drop my email. My email is so new with this organization that I didn't know it. She had to drop it in here. It's ezimmerman@globaltieskc.org. I will drop that in the Facebook Live as well. If anyone has any additional questions, if they want to ask either of our presenters, or if they have any questions about Global Ties, let us know. And then obviously, please let us know if you're interested in this conversation and maybe you want to see more, because I know I would love to see more. I just want to be a fly on the wall of a conversation between the two of you that just probably could go for hours.
Yeah,
Definitely.
probably.
Definitely. Well, and I also added my email in there too. So if anybody has questions, reach out, whether it's about beer, just what businesses are doing, what events going on around, holler. I don't really have any secrets. People ask about recipes and stuff. I'm like, I don't care. Take it. You can brew it. It'll taste different.
Right. Try.
But yeah, exactly.
The water
and
profile. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I'm an open book. So if there's any questions out there, holler. I would love to do what I can to support.
I love it. And Paulina, keep updating us on your sustainability efforts. I adore that. I love that mission. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
with us.
Sorry for not. I couldn't be more technical about it, but you know the language barriers kind of.
I get it. I mean, it was a great conversation, and compost is compost here. So
Oh, cool.
yeah.
Kill.
Thank you. Everyone have a wonderful evening. And Paulina, go and get yourself a beer or a sparkling wine, okay?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.
See you.